I think the easiest way to think about mindfulness is to think of it as returning your attention again and again to the moment. And what I mean by the moment is what's going on in the world outside your head, or to your breathing, or to your posture, maybe to the feeling of your feet against the soles of your shoes, to what you're hearing, what you're seeing. So it's things that are going on outside your head, because one thing we're trying to do is to spend less time wandering around through the past and the future and, worries and fantasies and imagination and so on. So think of mindfulness as returning, because we don't really have the option of staying present all the time. It's just not how we're made. And even since people have started watching this, they've probably drifted once or twice away to something else. Could have been a sound of something in the vicinity, or it could be thinking about, I don't know, shopping list or something on the to-do list, somewhere they're going tonight. But there are lots of things that we drift into and out of all the time. So that's why I would say that we can't expect to stay in the present all the time. And there's no point in getting upset or unhappy because you can't. The point with mindfulness is to keep returning, and returning is the key in the practice of mindfulness. People often think that to practice mindfulness, they've got to do 20, 30, 40-minute meditations every day, and that really puts them off. But the good news is that to be mindful, you don't really have to do that kind of meditating. What you really are trying to do is to be more present, if you like, during your day, and you can help yourself to come into that mindfulness zone more easily, perhaps by putting aside a minute or two a few times a day to be mindful of your breathing, for instance. Or let's say if you're at work, you might be mindful as you walk from one place to the other, instead of having your head full of whatever the latest dramas are at work. There's lots of ways like that you can just bring mindfulness into your day. When you get up in the morning, you can be aware of your feet hitting the floor, for instance, and you can just decide to be mindful that day. Most people, I think, practice mindfulness in the West and in our current era because they're looking to deal with stress in a different way. We live in a very, very stressed out age, probably the most stressed out age that we have ever experienced. And so we're running a lot of adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones through our bodies a lot of the time. That's bad for our health, and it also just feels bad and feels unpleasant. Now, mindfulness practice calms down the entire system. It has that effect on the brain, where we're generating an awful lot of our stress, and it calms that down. Those systems in the brain that can reduce stress levels work better. And I think that's something that people find and that attracts people to mindfulness. A second benefit is that mindfulness makes us more empathic, in the sense of having a greater appreciation of what other people might be feeling. And that's an advantage in all kinds of relationships. And mindfulness, I think, also has the effect of increasing our sense of well-being. And that sense of well-being, I suppose, ultimately is the thing that keeps us doing it. But it's made up of, I think, that lowering of stress and maybe a better sense of connection with other people. Mindfulness has lots of other benefits, but I think that's really what we're looking for in it.